8 months ago, I bought a C4 Corvette that I thought would be a good deal. The car was clean overall, had little issues, but I was like, I want a project car. I need a project car. That's it. I'm getting a C4. So I went to Connecticut and picked that up. I paid 5 grand for this car. Overall, good bones. Needs a brand new interior. A couple of stuff inside was missing, but I gutted all the interior because this thing had the water on it. Used some paint to prevent rust. Also took out the old technology, put a new one in. I had some insulation left from my C6. I was like, let me put it here. The car only needs an interior. New insulation, of course, would make the car drives better, quieter, and new carpet, why not, and new seats. After the interior was complete, I was like, let's put the car outside and drive. But the car wasn't running right. So I went after the problem. So I started with the exhaust, removed the entire exhaust, put in brand new O2 sensors. Also did a bunch of checks like oil filter, fuel pump, all in between. When I started for the first time, I noticed the car wasn't running right. Although, after all this modification, as you can hear here, was still back in fire. During my first driving, I noticed the car was so bad, running so poorly. Then I was worried that something was getting worse. So I turned it back around and I drove home, but I noticed something happened and, well, something caught on fire. So the fact that I didn't have the full exhaust installed and I was driving, the car got hot, so the cats got hot, almost caught on fire, but I had my fire extinguisher on me. But man, that was a close one.
I'm not even sure what to say or how should I keep doing this video or not. Should I keep fixing it or not?
Of course you're gonna keep fixing. So I took this to my buddy Joe, who has a shop. So he diagnosed a couple of things for me. One was the missing fire, also the fuel pressure issue, and he fixed a couple of the things with a lift was so much easier. So I took the car back home and now we're gonna fix it. I don't want to waste any time. I'll talk you guys through. We're gonna have a lot of time to talk and show exactly. I'm gonna do a little bit different this time, so I hope you guys enjoy. Ignition. So the ignition for this car is driven by the OPTISPARK. The OPTISPARK sits in front of the timing cover. Above the OPTISPARK, you have your water pump and also your intake manifold. It's right there. So that means a couple of things. So every time you have a bad sparking, or either use your spark plugs or wires, or in this case, we don't have coils on top of the motor. That everything is driven by the OPTISPARK, which sits right in there. So that means if your water pump fails and start leaking and leaks over the OPTISPARK, you're gonna have an issue. Yeah, right underneath, behind the balancer, this is your water pump. Behind the balancer, it is your OPTISPARK, which you can barely see. There's no room. Here is the wire, the spark plug wires, and they go all the way to the OPTISPARK. A couple of issues that I noticed on this car specifically, right? I don't know if you guys remember, but when I did the exhaust, I noticed that it was an oil leak. I was trying to see if I can put a footage in here, but I even say that there's an oil leak in here. So I went down the car. There's nothing as far as oil leak goes. So that gives me one thing. My intake manifold is not well sealed. So maybe it needs new gaskets and that might be one of the issues that may damage my OPTISPARK. Also, this car, the previous owner told me that it is new oil pump. It's kind of, it is. You can see, so that means that the previous oil pump, so that leak all above your OPTISPARK. In other words, what I'm trying to say is this car has so many things point to the fact that the OPTISPARK is bad. Yes, so since we're there, we're gonna replace the OPTISPARK is the first thing we're going after, but then since I think there's a bunch of leaks on it, I'm gonna replace all the seals on the timing cover. Also, we're gonna check for the new water pump, although this previous owner told me that this pump, it's new. I don't know, same thing with my fuel pump, was a new pump, but it was bad. So I might as well just go ahead. I'm gonna do this car perfect as I said. So we're gonna start there. So new OPTISPARK, new water pump, new seals for the timing cover, and probably we're gonna have to do the seals for the intake manifold. I know it's a lot of work, I know it's a lot of information, but I want to make sure you guys understand what we're gonna do. So without further ado, let's attack, let's start working. Is we need to drain the coolant, and the way to do, there's your radiator, right? There's a plug right in there. There you go, that plug. So if I turn that one, the coolant should be coming out. One thing I did, I opened this so we can kind of drain everything that we need to. There you go. The good thing is we're gonna do a flush too. Let that drain. Once it's all done, then we're gonna start removing stuff. But yeah, I don't even know how old this thing is, but doesn't look, it smells gas too though. All right, we drained the coolant, although I still think we have, on the C4, you have two reservoirs, I guess. This is where you feel it, there's an overflow there. The overflow still has a bunch, but we cross that bridge when we cross that bridge, right? Yeah, so many people don't want to do this. I'm looking at the way to, you know, a learning process. There's the water pump there, and you can see it's a new water pump, right? But I don't know which kind of thermostat's in there, so there's like corrosion all over the place. Maybe we clean this throttle body. That's your water pump plug. I think we can take that one out. See that one? There you go. And you see how nasty is this? That's what I'm saying. Like maybe I have an oil leak somewhere, because this is not normal, right? So we put this one to the side for now. Bought this pretty cool tool to take the belts out because I didn't have one. There we go. Come out, belt. Come out. Come on, belt. No, you can come out. There you go. One belt less. So what do you guys think about my new utility car? So it's gonna be very helpful. All right, let's take this hose from the water pump out first. There you go. Bro, what are you guys doing with this L21 kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? Because there's no room for nothing. See, I drained the entire system, you guys just saw, but still there is coolant in the system. Yeah, you remove the hoses first. There you go, one more. Alright. Yeah, for the water pump, there are a couple. I think it's a 14 millimeter, but you gotta be like super smart because there's no room for like the tool itself. You know what I'm saying? So patient. Look at the size of this bolt. Look at this. All right, I think we have 2 more to go. There's one way behind here. Yeah, man, I'm gonna fix you. I'm gonna fix you. Doesn't matter how long it's gonna take it. See why I want to get that out, because it's out, water is coming out. So I'll get a nice bolt. So you're gonna say, oh, the guy changed the water pump, why are you gonna put a new one? There you go. That's your thermostat housing. Well, let's see if this water pump comes out.
your thermostat. Motor red. I don't know. I gotta look at it. Looks new though. Let's go. The good thing is you guys saw me draining the system, because otherwise you would not believe me. Spark plug wire. Actually, this is the ignition one. Tell it there's no room for this. There we go. So that's our OPTISPARK right there. As you can see, the water pump is driven by this. See, I'll keep this for now because we need to remove the balance. But oh, look at all that gunk in there. I'm quite sure this OPTISPARK had better days. You see the gaskets for the water pump are, look at that. I'm quite sure this was leaking at some point. That's the water pump. You see the other gasket in there? There you go. This one came out in one piece. Alright. So that's our optic connection. I'll leave that here. Now the balance has to come out, and I think, look at how TV here on this. So I don't know. We check for more leaks. I need to find out what is this. Maybe replace, because God knows what is doing it. I think the best bet to take this manifold out, but let's do one thing at a time. I think I'm gonna take out this. So that's a 15 millimeter. It's just the tensioner. There you go. It's just the tensioner. Super dirty. That's about it. That's a 15 millimeter there. There are 3 bolts on this balancer. Let's see if I can break those loose. This is an old torque wrench that I have here. It's the only 2 I have, guys, but I use 2 torque wrenches. One is a pretty old one, and one is just the one that I just bought it. So it is what it is. I know you're not supposed to use it like this, but it's the only 2 I have. I don't want to stop this for. So it's 3 bolts they hold the balancer on. You can put a piece of wood underneath to stop the balancer from moving. Since there's no room here between the rack and the balancer, I tied all the bolts except for this one that I took it out. I took it out half turn. So now I'm gonna start the engine, make sure the balance moves. If that moves, if the bolt gets tighter, that means it's moving forward, and that's what you want. Let's see. Yep. And this one's tight. Yeah, it gets so much tighter. There we go. Oh, it's so loose. That's good. I can't believe this thing is gonna come out like this. This thing really works. I don't advise anybody doing this. I'm changing the OPTISPARK anyway. Ah, there you go. Come out, buddy. Harmonic balancer came out. Now we just have the crank puller there. But I think now we can take it out, the OPTISPARK. All right, now let's take the cables out. The ignition one that I put it back. I'm not caring about the numbers right now. I'll get the numbers when I get the numbers. I think it's 2 or 3 bolts holding the optic, and they are 10 millimeters. So definitely there is an oil leak. All right, I cut myself, so that means that we're making progress. Yeah, come out, little buddy. All right, now I can take the spark plugs. Oh yeah, look at that, the OPTISPARK. That's our OPTISPARK. Look, cut my finger. So when you do this, that means they're giving everything you have to fix your car. But that's the OPTISPARK. As you can see, there's definitely an oil leak happening somewhere that we're gonna figure it out. But in this thing though, seems to be aftermarket one. I think this was changed at some point. I don't see, maybe is the cheapest version I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I really want to put this apart to see, but yeah, even I don't know, man. This doesn't look like the OEM one. I think the OEM one has like a yellow cover. So this looks to me it's an aftermarket one. But anyway, we know this might be an issue because of all this grime and oil leak. And if you look over here, that's the time cover. There's a seal, which is not actually sealing anything, and I think there's an oil leak. And as you can see here, it's leaking all over the place. And probably see here, there's oil in here. Look, so it's leaking. Where I don't know, might be my intake, the intake manifold, or might be the timing cover, which anyway we are replacing the seals. A lot of people told me not to touch, but I think at this point I have to. I'm here, I'm already here, so might as well just do it. So let's remove the pulley, and then we're gonna start taking everything apart, because I think I have to remove the intake manifold, because I gotta find this leak. There's definitely oil leak over here. Look at that. So we're gonna take care of it. Yeah, here deserves a really cleaning process. Look at this, how grimy it is and how nasty it is. So those are the wires, which we're gonna replace anyway. That's why I'm not worried about it, right? But I'll try to remove this pulley. It's gonna be a nightmare though, because that takes so much to do. But let's try. Let's see what we can do. The hub is the worst part. You can see you have no room here because the steering wheel rack and steering wheel line. So your tool barely fits. I'm trying to find a way to do it. It's slowly coming out, as you can see here. That part there. Sorry for the zoom, but it's coming off. But what I have to do, I have to put a bunch of bushings and nuts and even a socket in there to try to pull it out. I put a piece of wood there, so it's moving. It's moving barely, but man, I have to take breaks in between. So yeah, let's keep doing it. Whew. Man, I'm not gonna lie. This hub here was a nightmare to take it out. So I just took this out. It took me a couple hours. Maybe because I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't have the right tool. Might be a combination of both. God knows. But it's still a nightmare. I'll show you guys what I did. Oh, that's the tool. And boom, that's the hub. Yeah, buddy, you're out. Basically what I did, I use extension for a wrench that goes right here. This is a 4-inch extension that you put it here, and you drop the tool like this, and you start, tying the bolts, because the right way to do would be tying in here, but there's no room. If you get room, good for you. There's a steering wheel line that goes right in the middle, but then you can just tie the bolts. I got a bolt like this on my local hardware store, and that's it. Nothing gets more simple than this. It took me, to be honest, like if I combine all hours, probably took me 3-4 hours to take this out, just because I don't have the right tool and I didn't know exactly what I'm doing, but I think I figured it out. So that's the hub. I'm gonna clean everything up. Let's take the timing cover out and we go from there. Let me show you guys. Those are the bolts from the timing cover. So look how much stuff came out with it. So it's really hard to tell what it is, but I think they put some kind of sealant. But definitely there's an oil leak, and that's the reason why we're doing this. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use some white vinegar. I'm gonna put it here and drop those in. I think it will clean up. Then I'll use some kind of brush or something else to clean this up, and then I'm gonna clean this up, because look at how gross is this. I start pulling this out, but I'm gonna put this back on so then I can clean everything up over here, over there, which is nasty. And then we're gonna see
how much better that can get. So I'm gonna use degreaser and a pressure washer maybe. Let me show you guys how bad it is. How nasty is this? Look at that. So that's why I have to clean it up. The timing chain, it's almost off. I'm having a hard time to pull from the bottom. So let's see if I can pull back and then give a quick wash. Even the gasket, that's why it's leaking. Look at that gasket. It's probably gone. It's probably a cheap one. We'll fix. We'll fix. I'm gonna take advantage that today's not that hot. So this is just degreaser. Gunk can get out of here. So remember, I'm gonna replace all the wires, all the connections, everything. So should not be an issue. The idea would be take the car out, but I can't. So remove the cover now, because then everything now I'm gonna clean with the rag. Look at how nasty is this. So just remember, I'm gonna replace all those seals. Doesn't really matter what I'm doing here, just to make sure that I get this as clean as possible, especially for the gasket to bite on. And you can see here there's part of the old gasket. At this point, I'm not sure if this was OEM or not. The only thing it seems to me, there was a lot of RTV on it. Well, whoever worked on this car though took the shortcut, because every single part is a cheap part, so the seals were not properly done. You can tell that. That's a good thing why you should work on your car, because then you can do what I'm doing here. Make sure everything's done properly and right. We went from all that nasty to this, and the same happens here. We went from all that nasty to this beautiful frame and everything else. I still need to remove that gasket here though, you see. But what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna throw this cover. I can do it with one hand just to protect a little bit, because now we're gonna remove the intake manifold. I want to seal everything since I'm here. I don't know if there's an oil leak here on the back, but we're gonna seal everything. I'm gonna take advantage and also clean this intake manifold as much as I can. But one thing I don't want to do, I don't want to remove fuel rails, because it's just one thing less to do. So I think I can take everything out, throttle body, you know, if it's connect the lines here and so on. And here, as you can see, there's a freaking tape, which it seems to me, this I think it's a throttle position sensor, and as you can see here, the tabs are broke. That's why there was a tape. So I have to replace this anyway. So the tape is gone. I'm gonna remove the intake manifold. Basically, there are a couple bolts here, one on the back. I have to disconnect a couple things here, the fuel lines, and then we should be able to remove. So that's what I'm gonna do now.
The thing is, will this come out? Probably sewing there. Just gotta be patient this thing though. I wanna really take care of this throttle body, because last time I removed my throttle body from my C6, I damaged. Oops. There we go. Wasn't that bad though. It was better than I thought. But as you can see, looks clean here. I think it definitely needs oil change. The oil is too dark. I never did the oil change of this car though, and I can see the gaskets. That's where you gotta put a lot of RTV. It's on those parts, right? I'm gonna clean it up everything, because look, there's so much gunk in here. I want to make sure that it's clean. I'm gonna clean all the ports, make sure it's clean. I'm quite sure somebody else who was here before. As I said, this thing, every time I work on it, I see they cheap out. You know what I'm saying? Whoever did this cheap out, and that's not what you wanted, right? We want to do things right. Maybe I'll take the valve covers out since it's here. I'll clean it up. Maybe now it's a good time to paint too. I don't know, too much stuff. The good thing is I didn't take the injectors out, and the gaskets, they seem to be pretty good though. But I'm glad I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? You can see like points of failure here. See, open it up. It's not bad, but since we are there, you know what I'm saying? The other thing is, I think now it's a good time to do the spark plugs, because then we have so much room. Look, I can reach out every single one here, and over there is gonna be a little nightmare. I also have to remove the compressor because I bought a new dry for this, so this is gonna be new. So I'm gonna take it out the compressor anyway, so I have more room. Let's keep working.
Couldn't leave this alone, so I was like, I'm gonna clean this as much as I can. Although it's 32 years of dirt and grime, I'm quite sure nobody ever cleaned this intake manifold the way it's supposed to be clean. And I understand in the car it's way harder to do it, but I use a lot of degrease, like a brush. Even with all this degreaser and other products in the brush, the dirty wasn't coming out the way I want to. And I didn't want to paint it though, because it's like, you know, I don't want to paint it. It's like it's too cold to paint outside. And then I decided to use like a brush with the drill. Then it was cutting and it was doing so much better, and I feel like I was getting somewhere. I did apply the same concept on the throttle body because it was the same way. Then once the throttle body was clean enough, I started putting everything back together, and you guys can see here the color just changed. I was actually super happy with the result, so I put a new gasket and snapped that throttle body in, and I was ready to go.
I'm gonna remove these valve covers, because then I'm gonna have so much more room to do the spark plugs, and also they need to clean up. There we go, my new gasket, which is good, it's not leaking. Let me do this side too. I'm doing this. There we go. All right, I think what I'm gonna do now, with the main things off, I'm gonna start cleaning this up. I removed the compressor because it needs a charge. It's sitting here. I'm gonna clean it up. It's working, but it just needs a charge. And since there was no free on it, I remove it because I'm gonna replace the dryer, as I said. Right now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just clean everything up, get rid of this RTV here. There's a lot of RTV in there. I'm gonna clean everything up so then we can work. Then I'm gonna start pulling the spark plugs, which this side here, look, there's one all the way down there, and those two here I can get pretty easy to it. but that one's gonna be a nightmare. So I think now it's the time to do the spark plugs and wires, and then we're going from there. So that's what we're gonna see now. I'm gonna put you guys up there, and I'm gonna start cleaning. For the RTV, I figured this is the easiest way to do with a razor blade. Because I mean, you can. I have a plastic here. If it goes on the plastic, that's fine too. But so we're gonna apply a new one. When we get there, this old stuff has to come out. When it's thicker, it's come out like easier, if you will. I think the main leaks weren't coming from the intake manifold. They were coming from the time cover, but I could see that they apply a lot of RTV here, and that's the way to go. You have to apply a lot of RTV on the back and the front. So that's it. That's just the nature of the small block Chevy and the way that it's designed. If you watch the other C4 videos, you know that I already painted this valve cover. But look how bad it was after the car caught on fire. It was so hard to put in that I damaged, and I was like, there's no way this thing is going back to the car on the way it is. So look at the AC compressor, same thing. I was like, I don't want to buy a new one, so I ended up painted. I just taped everything I could, and I was like, I have high temp paint on me. Let's do it. Snap some prime on it, and in a couple hours was good to go. Meanwhile, all with all this stuff drying, because I did some cosmetic work that I will show you a little bit, but let's do the spark plugs. You see a remove here, but as you can see, you have no much room to put your socket in there and turn. This side is gonna be easier, but that side, look how much stuff we have in there. So I'm gonna attack this one. I already lose it, and the previous owner told me that he did this one too, like the plugs, but I bought the entire kit. I'm gonna do the plugs because they are, yep, they're a little burned out. So I'm glad we're doing this. Let's see what kind of. It's a good one though, but seen better days for sure. There's a little oily on it. Yeah, we going on with new plugs for sure. It's time for new plugs. So for comparison, that's the new, that's the old, and that's the new. So as you can see, this one, so just you guys know which one I'm going with, it's auto lit. This comes from the same place I bought my OPTISPARK, which they know everything about C4 and they recommend this. This comes with the kit. So I'm doing this spark plug, which it's a little size, it's a little shorter. I'm not sure. Let me know what you think. I hope this is not an issue, but let's put this on. There is no room whatsoever. And remember, you are dealing with aluminum, so you really gotta be careful. It's really hard to do this with one hand, but there you go, got it. All right, just tuck in, not much. There we go, first one in. Now I just have 7 more to go.
I totally understand why people don't want to do this, because I'm telling you, this was a nightmare. There's no room at all, so you kind of have to find your way, what is more comfortable, what is not, and that's what I try to do here. But I'm telling you, just be patient. You see, like, I maneuver all over the place. This side here is even worse because there's just no room. That's it. I get it why people charge a lot of money to do this, because the labor is intense and you have to be careful so you don't break it, right? Because if you break it, this didn't make any sense. So I even tried from the bottom of the car, but I went back and did from the top, so a lot of back and forth, but I finally got done. All the spark plugs and wires are in, as you can see. I'll tell you, this is a nightmare. You saw, right? But all the new spark plugs, make sure that the spark plugs didn't break, because they break very easy. It's just a nightmare to get on those ones done. Let me show you here how was the spark plugs, the old ones. So as you can see, they were pretty black, and I wanted you to look at the 6. Look at that. So the spark plugs was broke. Why? I don't know. I make sure that the spark plugs were done right. I took my time, although it was super painful. My hand is still hurting for doing this, but it is what it is. You gotta deal with. I think that's the challenge of working on a LT1. Now I think what I'm gonna do is it's time to start putting back together. So I have all the seals, I have all the bolts, the connections and everything. Let me show you what we're gonna put together. There you have my entire arsenal of new or old stuff. You have the new stuff, you had old stuff, but that's everything that I'm gonna do. I paint, as you guys just saw. Those are the ones that we painted. I got new AC stuff, I got a new heater coil because I think my one's bad. I got a new water pump thermostat housing because the other one was too old, a bunch of sensors, gaskets for the timing chain, a new water pump, and the main reason why we're doing this is the OPTISPARK. This OPTISPARK, it's a vent one, coming with all the harness and everything. This one was tested on a table in December 9th. That's when I bought it. I know has been a while, but we bought it. He's here, ready to go. We don't need to worry about this thing being bad, because I'm telling you, I didn't cut any corners on this because I want to do the best. That car deserves the best. And of course, I got a new coil because the one that's there is pretty bad. All the connections that I just showed you, I repainted the valve covers and the intake manifold. You guys saw all the process cleaning. So that's everything that we're gonna do. So let's start putting back together and we'll go from there. Before we start putting everything back together, this bracket is just super bad. I'm gonna just spray because since I'm gonna put everything nice back on, I don't want this one to be ugly guy in the room. So I already cleaned. The bracket is now black. I think we made a lot of progress, though it's still a lot of work in front of us. One more time, spark plugs, they all deserve some love. And then we got a brand new spark plugs. I think that's the main reason why this car is not running is the OPTISPARK, and of course that damaged cylinder 6. I think right now I still have a lot of work to do, but I'm gonna end this video right here because then I give you guys idea what's going on next. This video is already too long though, so I'm gonna stop right here. You guys saw all the things that we need to get done, all brand new parts. I bought so many parts, bro, and it's still getting parts here. But I'll tell you, I understand why people don't want to work on the LT1, right? Because first of all, there's no room for it, but at the same time, we gotta understand this is a 30 years plus old car, right? It's not brand new technology. You really gotta enjoy the process, and that's what I was trying to get myself into, to be honest. But I didn't know it would be this bad when I bought the car. But I also understand why the LT1 it's like such uh, a image, if you will, for Chevy, because you're going from this to LS. Of course, not the C6, but the C5. It's like night and day. But I'm excited to get this done. and make sure that I learn through the process. That's a project car though. You gotta remember this. I know the frustration. I know a lot of people are telling me this is a bad car, a bad car. It is. But as you see, I'm not chipping out. I'm not cutting corners. I'm doing everything to this car is gonna be so right, so good that I don't know. I'll probably gonna enjoy a lot. I will stop the video right here because it's a way too long. That's how the video is gonna be going forward, because I don't wanna, just do a 10 minutes. It's impossible for me to do a 10 minutes video on something like this. And I hope to inspire you guys. And I also hope you guys can help me along the way with everything I'm doing. I think I'm doing a lot of progress though. This car is gonna have a new entire ignition system, brand new, all the seals, everything like AC. I bought AC stuff, heater core, all the kind of stuff. So we have a long way, as I said, to kind of start the car. But I think in the next 2 weeks, that should be my goal. So I hope you guys stay along. One thing I forgot to mention though is this book. I bought this book from eBay, and man, this is saving my life, to be honest. It's better than YouTube, it's better than forums, anything. Tells you every single thing that you need to know. I bought it from eBay. It's like, it's crazy though. There's the talk specs, everything. Like, look, all the pictures. Like here, if you're gonna do a can swap, you know what I'm saying, like how you put the heads out. There's step by step, so it's pretty cool, pretty nice. Like how to put the balancer back, which I struggle a little bit, but I got this from eBay, 25 bucks. That was worth every single penny. If one day I sell the car, this goes with it, right? Those kind of things, you have to buy it. You have to do it. You have to, go in the process and make sure you get it, you learn. And one thing I can tell you, I've learned too much, so much that I can share with anybody. And the feeling, that's my goal, like the feeling of having this car running. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you think there's anything I can add it. I hope you guys understand what I'm doing. I'll show exactly the OPTISPARK that we're gonna put it on, all the water pump. This is coming in the next video, which I'm gonna start recording right now. So leave your comment, like, subscribe, share this video, because I need your help. If you can give me any idea, if you have ever worked on a LT1, I appreciate it. Also follow me on Instagram. I put more stuff there. It's easier to share, so you can get more updates there. I hope you enjoy. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Never forget, enjoy your life. Oh, Happy New Year. Never forget, enjoy your life and work hard for it.